Herve Locus, and I've been playing my camera in my friends' faces since I was about 17 years old. So that's like 2007. It's now 2022, so about 15 years. Photography and art has always been like a huge part of my life. Like, I remember when I was like 8 years old, like my dad got me a skateboard, and I was living in Florida at the time, and like, you know, it was just nothing but outdoor activities, and like, you had to be outside. So like, that's when I started to like, you know, exploring like my surroundings and looking at the things around me, you know, and a lot differently, you know, being outside. But as a teen, that's when I started to skate for real, when I was about like 11 or 12. That's when like I started to like take skateboarding serious. I was in junior high school at the time, getting ready for high school. But by the time I got to high school, like that was my identity. Like I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. Like if there was anything I wanted to do, it was like I knew I wanted to skateboard. It didn't matter if I was pro or not. Like I just knew I wanted to skateboard, and that was like, you know, my main passion and like interest in grabbing a camera.
Waving on the side with
myself and my friends, because like I thought what we were doing was cool, you know. So yeah, my dad got me a camera when I was like, shouts out to my dad again, because he got me my first board and my first camera. Yeah, like my first camera was a VX1000, and I got into videography. Photography came a little bit after like all my friends started filming and getting into videography as well, because we all started getting cameras around the same time. Because before that, my friend Oliver was like the predominant filmer, and then we had my boy TJ pull up on the scene. He was phenomenal. So he was filming us, and I was just, you know, always had my camera. So like I started to just like document my surroundings, and that's what got me into like the street photography and videography, you know, like just exploring, you know. And art, it was everywhere. And being an artist, like I was always noticing the names on the walls. I was always noticing like, you know, the art that was going up. You know, it was just like I was just documenting it, you know. It was a huge influence on like my style of shooting and like who I am and things that I shoot, you know. It's kind of like what catches your eye, you know. It's like working a job, and then like now, no matter like where you at, you start noticing things that you like learned on the job or whatever, but like you had no prior knowledge until you got into it. It's kind of like that. So art, skating, photography, all those things always like coexist together, because like there was like never a point in time where I wasn't on my skateboard, whether it was me just to be riding around, getting around, transportation, or like, you know, just coasting, just chilling, you know. And like I always had a camera with me, like especially my point and shoot. That was always something I kept with me. I feel like I didn't want to have a big camera with me, so like I'll just have my point and shoot camera. I'm not gonna lie, as far as film goes, like these Fuji 400s are like my life. Like I love the way these shoot. They're costly, like, you know, and then like the stuff that I like to shoot, like street photography and skateboarding, like I just feel like that aesthetic is like best for it. Some people like to use like portraits or, you know, different, like I don't want to like pick up any other brands because it's not a sponsored video or anything like that. So I'm not sponsored by Fuji. They're not sponsoring this video, but if they would love to send me some film stock, that would be dope. This is not a sponsored video. But that's just like my preference. I like the gritty, that grainy look. I don't know, like me being a videographer from like a VX point of view when I started, and then I got a DVX, of course. Like that was my second operating. And then of course I had Nikons, had a few different other film cameras as well in between. Then I upgraded, got me a Canon. Then I upgraded to Sony. Once I got a Sony, like that's when like I really started to do alright. Now I can start like, you know, selling prints and like really like putting my work on like a larger scale, because like now I got the resolution and the body of the camera that can put out the work that like I kind of wanted and felt like, alright, like this is the kind of work that I can kind of like, you know, sell and like showcase and do shows and art shows and stuff like that, broadcast. Not saying that like my other equipment couldn't like do it just as good, but like there's certain looks that I go for, like with my film photography. I love the fact that like I can't like see it right away, and that like I have to like take my time and like be strategic about what it is that I'm shooting, you know? Versus like when I shoot digital, like I can just like take a look at it and be like, okay, let me bring this down, let me fix this, let me step back a little bit, you know? It's like I kind of get to like look at it, but it's still the same type of excitement because like as a skateboarder, as a skate photographer as well, there's times where like I'll have to like show the skater like, yo, look how good this is looking, dude. Like you got this, bro. You gotta land this trick, and like that'll motivate them. And when I'm shooting film, I don't get that kind of feeling because I can't show them like, yo, hey man, like yeah, I know you landed the trick, but like I'm pretty sure this is a dope shot. But like let's get it though, you know. It's a different feeling, you know. And it's like a different appreciation, you know. It's like each roll only has 36 shots, so it's like you gotta kind of like, you know, be picky about what you're shooting and like, you know, take your time and like, you know, make sure like whatever it is that you document and you capture, it's like worth it, you know. I love that about film. Like, that's kind of like one of my favorite things about it, like having the patience to like wait on the things that you love sometimes. So as far as inspirations go, I have a few. Being a street writer, being a graffiti writer, having a graffiti background, I've always documented. My friends were always like in the scene, so like I always had documentation of it in the earlier stages until now. But like one of my main inspirations to like even explore those limits was like watching like, you know, Star Wars, you know, and like flicks like Graffiti TV, you know. Those were like my like first indications on like that point of view, like as like a videographer or photographer being behind the scenes or like being amongst like the action of what's going on, you know. So like I remember like in my earlier stages of like picking up a camera, like some of the things that like I felt that I had to shoot were like the things that like I liked and that inspired me. So like Martha Cooper, man, she was a huge inspiration. The way she like were right there in the scene with the writers, like if anything was to go down, like she was going to jail with them, like not for spray painting of course, but for just being right there with them, like with the camera. And that's something I was able to relate to all the time, like having my camera, you know, my friends would be like, you know, I'm out there exploring the world. Like being from New York, like I'm not gonna lie, like there's a lot of photographers that I love their styles, you know, like R.I.P. to Ricky Powell, R.I.P. to him. He had a great approach. He shot a lot of, he shot a lot of other artists as well. I'm not saying that like that was like the reason why I liked him, but like he just documented like artists and, you know, people like himself, and like I thought that was dope, like showing the world like that like people like you yourself, and then like of course Jamal Savage, like dude, his work is just so phenomenal, and like the way he captured like the New York City culture and the people, like me being from New York, it was like, you know, he captured that essence so beautifully. So like being a street photographer, of course, like I wanted to like not say like, hey, I'm gonna walk up and ask this person for a photo, because like street photography is capturing those moments, but like him definitely helped me, like, you know, be okay with like walking up, introducing myself and saying, hey man, I document you because like I think you're beautiful, or I think that like, you know, that you should be documented, and like, you know, I can capture you in a beautiful light. So like he was definitely a huge inspiration as well, you know. And then like for skate photography, oh my god, dude, like you got dudes like Ray Bobby, and like me being a black skateboarder, like just watching him do his no complies and his twists and his turns, like when I was younger, like, I was just like, that dude was just like so steez, so fucking cool, like I thought it was dope, you know. So like he was a big, huge influence on my skating and my photography as well, you know. Like, and then like I had like who else? Like Joe Brooks was like, dude, this dude does everything, shoots everything with film, and I was just like, that dude right there is talented as well. So like he kind of like gave me like a different approach as well. And like recently, especially now as of 2022, I've started to like take on film, like skateboarding and film, shooting and film only. Of course, I'm known for shooting digital, skateboarding and digital, but like this year, I'm kind of like trying to like push my limits, and like these are artists that like kind of like inspired me. So I wanted to kind of like emulate the equipment that they were using, like just like having like those aesthetics from back in the day. Like I said, like film just reminds me so much of like filming on tape, you know. With Panasonic tapes and Sony tapes and stuff like that, like back in the day. So like that just reminded me so much of like the core, like what got me into like picking up the camera and seeing that point of view. So that's kind of why I love film, you know. So yeah, so this year, 2022,
Yo, film this shit,
a lot more film.
Film that shit. Yo. Hey, yo, B, this is what you see on Dave Chappelle. You know that shit before and after?